Hi.
What up?
Just kidding. Okay, so, well, for those of you that, have an inkling of, what is it, a thought of an idea of whom, of the who, of, well, the who of the whom, I am, may I introduce myself as, inspiration, or, well, Craig works too, but, as, well, I had ideas of how I wanted to showcase my presentation of this video, but, okay, okay. Like I was saying, set the bar high and then go with the flow. So I had ideas, I'm not really quite exactly under what. Okay, but, let me see. I've been talking to the moon lately, and, like for the past 2 days, well, not regardless of that, I've been talking to the moon. And, like how there are moments like, yeah, I got friends. Yeah, I could talk to people. But sometimes those people aren't there to talk to. And so, like, you could talk to yourself in the mirror. As if you've ever seen me, the mirror over here. There's a mirror right here. Okay. But has anybody noticed how, like, I'm not sure, but the Gregorian calendar that says the moon's only supposed to be this many times, it's pretty been full. Maybe I'm just like, I'm just noticing it, or maybe, I don't know, but what I'm saying is the moon's pretty much been full for like the past 4 days, maybe 5, maybe 3, I don't know how long the cycle really goes. I mean, I did get that in a black and white, regurgitationally monetized, roboticalized, box-stationed school ink. But I kind of got away from that, and, well, but I've been talking to the moon and, like, working out, because, like, basically, even if you have friends or people you can talk to, because some people you can talk to, they don't consider themselves your friends, or you don't consider them your friends, but, the schooling, of the regurgitational kind, the schooling that you've gone to, that is still in place, that is taking a step towards more interactive kind of things, because honestly, if it was more interactive, it would be a lot more fun. People would pay attention and be like, oh, cool, wow, yes. But, since it is based off of, what is it, the 1960s, back in the day, Industrial Revolution kind of thing, like, I understand that, in a way, an idea of kind of the concept of it, of a positive spin-off on it, of an optimistic way of looking at it, is that, in a way that to produce robots to think how they think now, or at least have the perception that this is the way they think, because they only tell you what you're willing to understand, but it's a whole little digressiveness in there. But what I'm saying is that, being that to be able to program, even get started to getting to this point, the base of it is that you trained, or you took the human and you made it, yes, I understand, or you took the human and you programmed them to think like a robot, to not really want to take breaks, or to want to make it more preferable to not take breaks, to keep going, to do. When a human body is actually supposed to take a break, like it's preferable of what is a prefer to, if you do something for an hour, you take a half hour or an hour and a half break from when you did something, so that your body can recuperate. I know an hour and a half or an hour might seem really out of there, but what did you do? And what is your body going through, and how are you feeling that day? So like how much pressure and all that. But considering that it's the same system that hasn't changed, that in all truthfulness is just a way of boxing somebody up so that it's not a preferable willingness to think outside the boxes. Like I say, I think and live outside the boxes, because there's more than one box. But considering that robots can assist us, because in all truthfulness, instead of surviving, which is what more people think it's preferable to do, to live is only 5 things: water, transportation, food, shelter, and communication. Once you got those 5 things, which can be a have and a need, you can do whatever you want. Truthfully, you can do whatever you want. If everybody got those things, then, there's no needs, there is no wants. It's not I have to. It's, oh, I can do this now. I can wake up. And if people can go off and got those 5 things, no matter what, they find their joy. And then since they find their joy, they're able to do it. And since they're doing their joy, they're participating in a society that moves forward by people doing their joys. And there's always going to be something, because somebody's going to want to do it, because it's their joy. But even if their joy is meditating and doing nothing, you can go to that person and say, well, what do you think about life? Because that person most likely is going to have thought about this about life, and this about life, and this about life. So they're going to be really able to think about it from a different perspective, because all they do is think about it. So they thought about it from this perspective, but if all they can do, or they choose to do, is think about it, then they're thinking about it from this perspective, and this perspective, and this perspective. And soon they complete the circle, and they do a rotation. And then they're going to shift, and they're going to think about it, think about it, think about it. And then boom, boom, kind of thing. Recently, I had somebody, like, the way I go out with a person, or I've actually realized what going out with somebody and going with somebody, with the difference of it. Like, today's, most people say, I'm going to go out with that person, or going out with that person, instead of going with that person. Like, yeah, back in the day, it used to be going with that person, because back in the day, it used to be more of a prefer to be together, and to do things as a flow, and to love, and to be considerate, and hold the door for everybody, and be kind, and show other people that you like them, and you're gonna say I love you no matter what, even if they're a complete stranger. I love you. Oh, I love you too. That's cool. Hey, how you just like they knew each other for the whole life. Today it's not like that. It's closed off. It's zombified. It's interaction through a cell phone, or FB, like people post their whole status of everything. But regards to that, I am a little digressing. I'm getting a little intensified. But, so basically going out with somebody is going out with their front. They're not being nice. I mean, they can be nice and all that, but it's more oriented towards the commercialized need, have, and want society that is somewhat of a prefer, that's getting more oriented back to living instead of surviving. So going with somebody is actually being with them and understanding them and whatnot. Hopefully I put that in a way that makes sense, but I also actually understood the difference of a career and a job. Like which one is a calling, of like your calling or whatnot. Like I finally have been able to, I'm going back to school, and I'm really excited because the person that my counselor or whatnot is really awesome. The way they present it is awesome, and it's online, so I can do whatever, and it's not limited in that perspective of doing this time. You can do it whenever. And the letter, I got the letter like, congratulations, you're a student, and just the way it was worded, I loved it. It was enthralling, it's tropical, it's amazing, it's intense. I'm just, there's no, like, you know, but I'm just so engaged in it, in truthless. Basically what I'm saying at this moment is I'm going back to school to become a counselor, and I know that people can't come to me and I can talk to them, but now people are going to be more willing to be okay with taking my advice. And because yes, I'm not saying that they're not going to do this, but usually people, sometimes people can, as a prefer, if they are fully boxed in and just follow the schooling of the black and white monetized regurgitational robotic boxed Asian training of thinking outside the box for 5 seconds and then jumping back in the box and closing the lid. Now there are some people that cut a hole in the box to get some of the air to see the sky, or to suck people back into the box without really thinking that they're doing it. Because the way that it's kind of gone is the whole black sheep scenario. If there's one black sheep, the other white sheep are going to take that black sheep out. But there's two black sheep, the other sheep are going to be okay with it. And that, like, it's so funny when it's plainly presented like TV programming. It's programming. It's further training, but you're accepting it, but you think it's just programs and whatnot. But they are. It's like shows. But instead of it being called a show, TV showings, it's called TV programming. You know, why isn't it called TV showings? It's a show, you know. It's a program, like on a computer, to have it run a certain way. I know that I might talk, or I talk about this, or I talk about that. But in all truthfulness, I know I've already said it, but I honestly, really do attempt, since I'm doing these videos, oh, bless everybody. Really do attempt to showcase in the presentational form of whom I am. Bless everybody. So that you can get an understanding of the dynamic of the levelings that I can go work from. Yeah, on my other video, I didn't shower for whatever many days. It doesn't make a difference. I went with the flow, you know. And yes, I know that that video may seem really egotistical, but in truth, the mind, the human perspective of this ego, which all of that assists to understand this, and it move forward, propel the understanding of the undertaking of the understanding of this. Yes, the body being a part of that, which encases your soul, which is through your heart, is a unit as one and pushes forward, kind of thing. Your heart mind, because your heart in all truthfulness is the first and last thing that is here, that comes into this and then goes from this. Because that's where your soul is. Your soul has many lifetimes, not just this. It has a basis of what everything is. It has more of the understanding of what everything is. God is. Mother, Father, Essence. Every wholeness that is a piece of what is when it's brought together into one thing. And your mind, your humanism, your ego doesn't. It has this basis of just one lifetime. So that's kind of the difference in when being multi-dimensionality kind of thing comes into play, of understanding it, of the basis of this to that, kind of thing. Recently, I took in the more of the expression of the undertaking of the understanding of the thought wave of the idea of like increments of smaller. Instead of doing it like an hour a day, you do like stretching. Like you stretch, like you do your neck, you do your arms. In all truthfulness, like go like this. I know you might not have seen it, but if you do that and then you do the reverse, because you have two rotational cups that you do. Then you can go like this. So you have your hands in, out, up. You go like that, and then you go like that. Because how do you stand? You stand like this. You stand up, and naturally, this is a natural thing. You have two different ways of doing it. Maybe one day I'll actually get out there and be able to show you how to stretch. Because if you actually stretch, it's a workout. And it's really, if you do it, it's a workout. And believe me, whoa. It's like, whoa. But, then another perspective, or another whatnot, to balance your chakras, the way that I've been doing it is I ground myself first. I don't just ground myself. I don't just put one root to the center of the earth. I ground myself like a tree, because every time that the way I interpreted it was I grounded myself with one root, because that's how it was kind of presented. But I ground myself like a root, like a tree, I mean. And then I take the earth energies, and I put it in my base chakra, the red one. I don't know the names. I do know them, but I don't. Names are something else for me. The only one I really can, it's actually called the root chakra, but okay, got the red one, and then you swirl it around, and then once you feel it naturally just pick up, because you're gonna swirl it around, but you're gonna want to swirl the energy this way, up. And then once it wants to go jump up, you go from the grounding and you go up, and then you do that again, and then once it goes to the next one, you do it again, and you'll feel it. You can feel you like wanting to go to the next one, but it's not there, so you keep going like that. And sometimes it's like that, if depending on how grounded and how centered and how close you are to it. Don't say, oh no, it's not gonna be that quick, because it can be. Because what you're doing is you're saying, I don't want it that quick. I don't want it to do it that quick. I want to stay here. I want to do it like this. This is how I want to experience. So it's going to experience it. You're going to experience more like that because that's what you're saying. But so when you get to the top, after you let it all swirl up and you take it back from the bottom, take it up to the top, you do the same thing at the top. Once you get to the top and you're feeling that it can go all the way up, you take it one more up, and then you start doing it down. You take the energy from the sky or the universe or whatnot. Because simply you're the rainbow bridge, you know. You're the light bridge. You're the 7 light bridge. You're in simpleness, you're the connection from the earth to the sky, because the earth can't separate itself. Like the earth, it can. I'm not saying it can't, but our willingness of a human understanding, it can't. Literally can't take its arm of Florida and stretch it out and touch the moon, kind of thing. But we can do that for it, as like we're the cells of, like, in our body kind of thing, but for the earth, we're the cells of the earth, but we're the tool of the earth. We're an extension of the earth, so it can do that. You know, we have our own will and stuff like that. With that kind of understanding. My Lapis Crystal just left out, and in a way it's saying that I don't really need it anymore, or it's not preferable for me to use its like gifts. I'm complete without it. And also it's saying good job, awesome. But a Lapis Crystal is one of those crystals that are very powerful crystals. It's one of those crystals that it's a repelling crystal. It has that potential. It does have that. It does skill. So like when somebody talks about you, instead of it actually like them sending them your energy, they're that unpreferable energy, it goes back to them right away. Boom. Same thing with if you do it to them, it's gonna go right back to you, like, because same thing, you know. It's not gonna let you do that to somebody, and it's not gonna let somebody do that to you. What am I saying? It's also as a preferable way of using somebody's meditation. Of using anybody's meditation as to assist you. And then once you do the energy up for your chakras, once you do them up and you do it down, they're all gonna swirl, and then you can picture the lotus flower blooming, and you just be centered and balanced, and just take it from there and let it go. Because in meditation, it's not about denying the thought or focusing, or like saying no, because you're focusing on that. It's about, because we're here to experience to accept what we through that of what we don't want, so we can get to what we do want. So we're focusing on what we do want by focusing on what we don't want. I will write that statement down. But by you just automatically closing your eyes, like breathing, you can do it before or do it during, but closing your eyes and breathing, and then using their meditation, like, oh, they're saying this. Okay, that's kind of preferable, but okay, now my mind's over here, okay, and then you focus back over here, and soon you'll just automatically just be able to focus over here, and the other thoughts won't even come to you. Because it's not about changing your thoughts, it's about changing your frequency. Because within those frequencies ranges is those thoughts. That's where they are. That's it. That's where they are. It's kind of like, you're going to go to a food place to get food, not clothing. And so when you want to get clothing, you're going to go to the clothing store, not the food store. Because that's where they are, right? So to go to get to theme park, you're going to go to theme park, and you're going to leave those other places. So kind of hopefully you understand what I'm saying in a sense. So by raising your vibration, you get out of those thought forms, and by getting out of those thought forms, you don't have them anymore. They're not going to be there anymore. And yes, I know on my website, on our website, my online journal, whatnot, I say have and need and want and not preferable, but they do have a place of giving to not just accepting and understanding what other people are saying, but be able to showcase and display in the presentational format of the frank sense of what it means to your understanding that yous have and need only is for what their prefer will is. One of the reasons why I'm breathing so much is to stay and to be able to step back from doing and go into being. Once you step into being, you're able to go back into doing, but be more understanding and more fluid into what direction you're going with it. I'm reading this. I'm gonna read this. This poem. I didn't write the day on here, but I wrote it like the 20th, 21st, I don't recall. But I started it at 3:02 a.m. and it's called Shooting Time. Celestial stars that cavern the endless ripple of dewdrop of that caress the shooting stars that skip across the depths of world's end. The shimmering sandstones that is the grain that swirls to but one motion through the rounded hole that echoes out by steps of the circle, crescendoing vertically. Space-time growth beckons all, hourglass sight, click, clock, tick, talk. Silence succumbs to circular creation. The countless becomes the counted, measured by straight to curved lines. As numbers 0, 1 through 9, 0 shows only but once in truest form, till seen upon what is a side reflection, name, place, when, how, repeat till time's beginning. Celestial stars, marks the of, shimmering darkness, shadowed days. And then the time is 3:32 when I stopped it. This is another poem that I wrote. It was done on 7/15/13 at 10:25. It's called Wonder B, or B Wonder. But it's wrote Wonder backwards /B. Wonder is wonderment, full of beauty, life, joy. To echo out as the sound vibration of light shimmers, counting the countless ripples of dewdrops after a sandstorm, waves of triumphant steps of failing to the sight of magic of the captivating laugh that springs forth like an idea of being the one living life to the one breathing the life into that of the breathing the life into the within of life. The endless shadows that sparkle in the night sky of endless light rays of growth that endless rays of growth. The lights of twinkling twinkle the eye and twinkling in the eye and ignites the crackling fire of the soul that swirls within circular corners of benevolency, earth-bound, star-gazed, breath-blown, water-iced, fire-light, what a delight, wonder is wonder. Now you might be having the thought of, didn't he write that? Should he know what he said? For one, words are a challenge to me, and in truth, this is a draft, and yeah, you know, but from a perspective of special ed, to just put it in a frank sense of understanding, what that can mean is you got one foot in earthbound and then you got another foot in somewhere else, so you're not fully here. you're fully here, you're half here and half somewhere else. So in a sense, in one sense, why that's like that is to assist other people to have to encompass change so that it can be more interactive and not a robotically boxed kind of a thing. At the same time, why? For me, my perspective, I get to love myself more and understand myself more. Because sometimes you're the only one that can talk to yourself. Because you don't get a handbook for it, so you gotta write your own handbook. And within writing your own handbook, you get to understand yourself more, of how to understand yourself, and then understand how to showcase, to present that understanding to the round. Yes, I talk like I'm really smart, like I'm able to spell and read. Boom. You know, it is what it is. And I can spell and I can read really good. It just, I got my challenges in that, you know. We would say that that's the harder thing for me, presenting the value of the vibrancy of the crescendoing echoed ripples of delight is easy. Like I said earlier, the way I would approach somebody to going with them, not going out with them, to go with them, is by their spark, what's inside. With that spark that ignites the flame of intensity that roars in, coming together and shaping and being flames of blue and red that swirl throughout timelessness. I've only ever had 2 people that I've ever felt that for. The first one, if I said something, I'm pretty positive I would be going out with that person. But who would I be? It's a good question. I'm not regretting it. I'm just saying it from an observable point of view of stating and understanding. But I lived like I already asked that person out and we were going out. I just never said anything about it. If I did, you know. And then quite recently, another person, and I felt like that for. But that person, which is okay, it's cool that they're like this. It's cool like how they are, which is fine. It's whatnot. Instead of actually discussing and having a conversation, they said, "Oh, okay, yeah, whatever." That's, you know, because like the who, the what, and the when, and the one, and the can, and the when. Who what's. is silly and unpreferable, to say it nicely. And they're not really, really willing to step outside the box, to step out of that schooling of black and white regurgitation, monetized, roboticized, boxation, understanding and training. Like I said, that's cool. But from the perspective of getting captivated by that spark, being awed of it, knowing what it is to have somebody we can go and talk to them and know that they'll listen and they'll be there for you, and that they make it all okay. And then to find out that they're not okay with that they're talking to you about it now, but when you already feel that way, it is what it is. And they were like, give me a moment. And they were like, well, I don't want you to change, but it's like you're putting on an act, and it's scripted, and it's not real. I understand where they're coming from about taking in the perspective of what other people think and doing it at that level. But sometimes, instead of tapping them on the hand, you gotta shake them to say, look, there's something else out there, and this is a possibility, and you can be doing this. It's okay that you're doing that, but you can be doing this. But I'm shaking you because you were so far looking down, you were pretty much, walking, when, like, you know how you stretch to your feet? That's how they were walking. And, like, I got this site, or we all got the site, whatnot, but